Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Out to the masters. Break it down!
Real Take Nation, what's going on? How's everybody doing tonight? Alex Washington coming in hot from Dirty Ass Basement Studios, sitting in cold ass Auburn, Maine. You are listening to the Trifectas Unleashed, presented by Real Take No Holds Barred Sports. Coming in from Akron, Ohio, his name is LeBron. Oh, wait a minute. His name is Adam Little. Adam, what's going on, man? Say hi to the people.
What's up, Alex? That was a great choice for entrance music. So
I figured you'd like
Real
that,
Take
man.
Nation, if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Blame Chris.
Welcome to the show, buddy, man. That was a nice little entrance for yourself. That was pretty good. That was good. And Hanlon from Portland, Maine, he just got done shooting 500 jumpers, and I'm not talking about basketball. I'm talking about dirty laundry. His name's Chris Allen. Chris, what's up, man?
Alex, I'm just sitting here trying to figure out where I'm going to put my trifecta tattoo on my body.
Yeah, I would too, man. We're gonna be spreading all over the place. I've already made this abundantly clear.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding around.
Good. Glad to have you on the show, buddy. So how about this weather?
Glad to be here.
How about this weather? Seriously, 1 to 3 inches, my ass.
Yeah, being the weatherman is the only job in the world where you can be wrong all the time and nobody cares.
Roger Goodell's still employed.
It makes money, man.
Well, I could sit in there with John Deere hat and LL Bean Gore-Tex boots and make the NFL money.
The only problem with that, absolutely ridiculous, with a John Deere hat.
I'd probably look pretty good.
Yeah, yes, you would. No, you would look ridiculous.
I'd look like Vince Wilfork in his overalls.
You look like Vince Wilfork at the beach.
So in shape. So we got a little bit on deck today, man. We're gonna open up our segment of Face the Nation. For those that don't know, we essentially garner questions from you guys, all of Real Take Nation, ladies and gentlemen, I should say. And we're gonna put it all together into a quick little bit called Face the Nation. So every single show that we do, we're gonna open up with Face the Nation and just kind of hand it to you guys for, giving us something to talk about, because I know you guys got plenty to talk about yourself. So we're going to start with that. And then, of course, there's a bit of a big game on Sunday. I don't know if you guys know what it is, but it's Peyton Manning versus Cam Newton. It's Super Bowl 50. So we're going to get into that for a little while tonight. And then we're going to...
That's right. That game is on this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, I was more concerned with the Celtics and Cavs score. I don't know if anybody got the score on that. Maybe Adam can let me know.
Final score of that game?
Oh, I don't know.
I can already tell that you're really distraught that Avery Bradley sunk that in front of millions upon millions.
Avery Bradley stuck a knife right into your back, Adam.
Well, come see me in June.
Oh, we will.
Yeah, we'll be talking baseball then, so it's all right. It's all right. So we'll finish up the show after with our real takes, and then we'll close up. We'll close up shop. So again, we'll start with Face the Nation. We'll go into our topic. We'll finish up with our real takes and call it a night. So for those that don't know, we are actually finally scheduled. We're going to be doing 3 shows a week. We're going to be doing one Sunday and posting it on Monday. We're going to be doing one on Tuesday, posting it Wednesday, and we'll be doing one Friday, posting on Saturday. That will be weekly, every single week. We'll be bringing it to you guys every single week because, you guys give us something to talk about, and we all love it. So we appreciate all the support you guys give us. So let's get into it, man. Let's face the nation. Let me get a little quick little timer up here, and we'll get going. We'll go with the first question. It's going to be for Adam. We're going to be going with Megatron. It looks like it's a Patriots-based question, and it has something to do with a star wideout who is contemplating retirement by the name of Calvin Megatron Johnson. And the question is coming from Elijah. He wants to know, Adam, if the Patriots should take a flyer on Calvin Johnson, should he not retire, or should the Patriots just work on what obviously was a glaring hole this year, and pun intended, hole, and work on the offensive line? You got a minute, buddy.
Yeah, Elijah, they definitely need to stick with the offensive line. Doesn't matter he has out there for receivers. You put Jerry Rice out there, you give him Randy Moss, you give him Megatron. If he has less than 2 seconds to throw the ball, it doesn't matter who's out there. You have to fix the offensive line.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that fully. Yeah, you did it within 30 seconds, man. That was good. Yeah, definitely. You know, as much as anybody would like to have Megatron, man, you got to work on what is really a necessity, and that's obviously the offensive line. So let's get into the next one, man. Let's go run right through it. Adam, I think you got one for me, man.
Yeah. All right. Scott wants to know, your boy Scott, the birthday boy from last week.
Yep.
Pitchers and the catchers are reporting soon. So what do you think the Sox starting rotation is going to look like, and what kind of bounce back season from Hanley?
All right, we got a two-part question here. Let me start with Hanley real quick. I, along with my father-in-law, are probably the only Hanley Ramirez supporters. I'm all for him playing first base, so I think defensively he's already going to make a big improvement from playing left field, and let's be honest here, really shouldn't be that difficult considering how much he sucked in left field. So barring health and barring him really struggling at first, which I don't think he will, I think he bounces back in a fairly big way. I think he hits probably 280 to 290. He hits anywhere from 25 to 30 home runs and probably drives in 85 to 100 RBIs. Obviously, that's not unheard of for Hanley, so I think he's fully capable of doing that. On to the rotation. I think the rotation is solid. I do believe they need another starter, but it just depends on how it goes. Obviously, Buchholz isn't capable of staying healthy, but I will say that David Price is going to be in the top 2 in Cy Young voting. And here is my quick bold prediction for the year. I think the rotation is going to be pretty good, but Clay Buchholz will pitch over 200 innings for the first time in his career, and he will be in the top 5 in Cy Young voting, winning at least 17 games. Call me a psychopath. I don't care. It's a bold prediction.
I think you have the entire Real Take Nation laughing at you about that.
I don't care.
Including one of your colleagues. Holy crap.
That's bold, man. It doesn't get any bolder than that. And we got one more question here, and it is for Mr. Larry Bird. Let's take a look. Christopher, the nation would like to know from you if... Oh, it is a David Ortiz question. You ready?
Yes, sir.
With this being... This is from Elijah, again. With this being David Ortiz's final year, do you expect the same productivity as he has in the last few years, or do you see him slowing down at age 40?
He's shown absolutely no signs of slowing down at all. I was really disappointed to hear he was actually retiring this year, because I really think he's got a couple more good years left. But again, now that we've posed the Hanley Ramirez question, you have that to fall back on if Ortiz slows down a little bit. But in my opinion, Elijah, no, I don't think he'll slow down. And but I think that it's almost a good thing that he's retiring, even though I don't want him to retire, because I think the Red Sox are really going to have their hands tied on what they're going to do with Hanley. Because unlike Alex, I feel like that guy cannot play anywhere in the field. And again, going by what you say, he has to get in shape in order to produce the kind of numbers that Alex is saying. And Hanley doesn't really like to work. I mean, yes, he's working right now, but he doesn't really like to work. So that's a whole nother story. But so far, David Ortiz always starts out slow in April, but then he always comes around. And until he doesn't do that, there's no reason why I wouldn't feel is that he would have a great year. I feel like he'll have a strong final year of his career and hopefully a World Series to go along with that.
Very nicely said, man. It's going to be tough to replace David Ortiz's productivity, and that's going to hurt any team. Oop, timer's up. Nice, Chris. That'll go with really anybody. You lose someone that hits anywhere from 280 to 300, that drives in 100 RBIs yearly, that hits 30 home runs yearly. It's going to be hard to replicate that, if you will. And I think the Red Sox have that guy in waiting, and that's probably Hanley. I know you guys don't like that, but
let me just say something about Hanley, Alex. Is we go back and forth. Let me explain to you my problem with Hanley. My problem with any professional athlete that lets himself go, and including David Ortiz fan. But the problem with these guys that pack on this weight and they call themselves professional athletes, it's really insulting to people who work out in general. I mean, I don't get paid to work out, but yet I stay in shape. If somebody's getting paid millions of dollars, it's not that hard. You can get a personal trainer. Hanley Ramirez absolutely has zero excuse. When he was a younger, fantastic shape, that's when he was putting up that kind of production. He was chiseled. You saw him last year. He could barely move his arms. I don't know if there's enough time for him to get back into shape or enough will, Alex. That's the biggest problem right there with Hanley Ramirez.
At 31 years old,
Okay.
I mean, he's still fairly young. Still fairly young.
It is, but when you don't have any work ethic and you let yourself go, it's. I mean, as far as people that work out know what I'm talking about. When you let yourself go, it's very hard to get it back, especially when you were once in shape and then all of a sudden you're not in shape. Now, nobody in Real Take Nation or anywhere in this nation is going to argue with me that Hanley Ramirez is out of shape. He may be bigger than he used to be, but it's mostly fat. There's not a whole lot of muscle on that boy.
He's going to win a
All
Gold
right,
Glove.
I got a question for you guys. I'm gonna build off Elijah's question, and
Okay.
it goes out to both of you guys. Next year, with no Ortiz, will the Red Sox? What will they miss more? His production on the field or the leadership in the locker room?
You need a specific answer. It needs to be one or the other.
Well, no, just which one do you think will they miss more? Do you think Pedroia can step into that leadership role in the clubhouse and kind of take it over?
He hasn't been able to so far. Pedroia is leader in the clubhouse. If like they basically really. What they're really missing is they're missing Veritek. Veritek was that big, like, vocal leader in the clubhouse that actually wore the C on his shirt, was the actual captain of that team. People would go to him sometimes over the managers. He would have a briefcase full of notes on what to do and what certain pitchers were doing, and he was like a manager playing on the field.
I agree with that. I agree.
Well, I mean, you guys know how I feel about Veritek. I've been saying for a while he should have been the manager of the team.
Yeah. Well, I still like John Farrell, and if there's somebody in the waiting there, I think Torey Lovullo did a very admirable job himself, and being able to use all the young talent. But to answer your question, I'm probably going to say productivity. He's a very big leader. He's very vocal, obviously, and I think they'll miss that a lot too. But for the sake of answering your question, I think they're going to miss the productivity more than anything. Because I know in my lifetime and probably both of your lifetimes, there has not been someone that has been nearly as clutch as David Ortiz has been in his whole career with the Red Sox. And it's very hard to find someone else.
He's probably going to go down as one of the greatest clutch hitters of all time.
Yeah, I mean, look at the playoffs in just 2013 alone.
But I will say this, Alex. When we talk about leadership, you talk about how he's vocal in the club. A lot of the times, again, I love David Ortiz. I am a huge fan, but a lot of the vocal parts of his game are not always great. He's been known to complain about not getting charged with a hit, or gone up to the clubhouse and yelled at people about why wasn't that a hit. I mean, sometimes some of the things that are vocal with him, you never ever would hear that. Jason Veritek.
No, you probably wouldn't. I don't disagree with that.
So I think that you can replace the vocalness in the clubhouse. I'm going to have to agree with you and say productivity, because you're going to miss. I mean, you could basically put it in pen that David Ortiz is going to hit 30 bombs and he's going to drive in over 100 runs every year, and sometimes he even gets that batting average up. Like, he's been known a couple of years to have almost a 300 batting. I mean, that's just downright nasty.
Is he a Hall of Famer, guys? Is he a Hall of Famer?
he's probably not going to he's probably not going to get in the Hall of Fame, but I think he deserves to be. I mean, if you're going to put a DH in there, he's the guy you got to do it. I mean, who's better than to be the first David Ortiz?
I mean, Edgar Martinez would have a bit to say. He was arguably the best DH ever up until Ortiz.
Yeah, but when it comes down to clutch numbers,
yeah. Adam, you think he's a Hall of Famer?
The last World Series, he hit 700.
Yeah, and he was rightfully named the MVP.
Yeah, they just kept pitching him. Sorry, Adam. Go ahead, buddy.
I was just say, not only is he Hall of Fame, he should be first ballot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that he's the DH. I mean, technically, it is a position that they have in that terrible American League.
Oh, you guys are going to be going to a DH sooner than you think, too, Guy.
I hope not. I wish they'd just get rid of it altogether. But
well, we all wish they'd get rid of the Atlanta Braves altogether, but they won't do that for us. They won't do us a favor on that.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, man. I wish I had a gunshot sound. That was the shots fired, unfortunately, for Adam. Oh, well. It happens. So we got a bonus question, and it's coming from my ma. Ma, she wants to know how you guys think Dustin Pedroia rebounds this year. Does he stay healthy and play like Dustin Pedroia, or does he play like Dustin Pedroia and hurt himself?
Adam?
He's going to play like Dustin Pedroia and hurt himself.
How many games is he going to play?
He'd be at about 130. I see him around 100.
I think he's got to be at 130.
I think he's going to give you that 280 average. He's going to hit between probably homers, drive-in, 60 to 70 runs. I don't think he can stay healthy. I mean, he's getting a little older, and just his body, like the size of his body, he has to put in so much effort to accomplish everything.
Yeah,
it just takes a toll on him.
Yeah, Chris, I think he's going to honestly play 130 games. You know, I don't look at the home run number. I don't really care about the home run number. I'm looking at that batting average. I'm looking at his on-base percentage. To an extent, I'm looking at his RBIs, but I still think that Dustin Pedroia could play 130 games. And I think the smartest thing that they should do is give him a day off a week. And talking to Adam a little bit before this, are you going to do that in the thick of a pennant race? Probably not. But if it's getting towards the end of the year and he's as fresh as he's been in 3 or 4 years, I mean, don't you think 130 is good enough for him to, essentially call that a big-time rebound year, Chris?
Yeah, you forgot one thing about Pedroia that's very important is his defense, too. He plays an excellent second base.
Yes, absolutely.
Very, very, very underrated. In fact, he could arguably be the best second baseman in the American League anyways. I feel like 130 games is not out of the question. The problem with Pedroia in the past is that he refuses to take days off. It's very hard for them to get him to take a day off. It's like almost like an act of Congress to get that man.
Yeah, it's almost like to his own detriment,
Right, and this will get to my feelings about John Farrell a little bit. Is that I feel like John Farrell is a pretty good manager, but I also feel like he gets talked into things by his players a lot because he's kind of a player's manager.
Yep.
And I think that maybe it's the only thing about Bobby Valentine that I actually like. I mean, he was a horrible, horrible manager for the Red Sox, but he wouldn't take any crap from a Pedroia or anybody that said they're not gonna, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna play. I wish Farrell would just get just that little bit of hard ass from like a Bobby Valentine or like a Lou Piniella. You know what I'm talking about?
Bobby Cox, Adams' boy.
But yeah, just to say,
Greatest manager of all time.
Right. Well, let's not get carried away. But I think you're right. I think, and I'm comfortable with him missing some games because I'm very, very comfortable with Brock Holt coming in and playing.
He was an all-star last year. He was an all-star.
And so honestly, if to answer your mom's question, I think that we're good either way. I mean, it's kind of one of those deals where either way we win. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, like if you have a healthy Pedroia and he's putting up the type of numbers, which I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. I mean, that I agree with Adam. Oh God, I can't believe I said that. But I mean, kind of numbers.
I blame it on you.
15, 17,
Hashtag blame
20
Chris.
home runs, 20 home runs roughly, maybe.
Yep.
285, 290, possibly flirting with 300. He's not going to drive in a lot of runs, but he gets on base a lot.
Yeah, that's all that really matters. I mean, you got
So you
Bogarts, you got Ortiz, you got Hanley, and hopefully Fat Panda. You know.
So you get right. So you get that out of Pedroia if he stays healthy, like you talked about. And then if he doesn't stay healthy, you got obviously an all-star as in Brock Holt that could come in and play for Pedroia if he goes out hurt. God forbid he goes out hurt. I mean, really, ultimately, you want Pedroia to play as many games as possible because you can as Brock Holt all over the field, give guys days off and get him at bats as well. That would be the ultimate dream scenario for the Red Sox. Is everybody stayed healthy and Brock Holt could play all around the field and give these guys days off.
Yep. It's a good question, Mom. Good question, Mom. Love you, Mom. She's a Manny Ramirez fan. She's a very smart woman. Man Ram. So, before I go on to football, dark horse for MVP this year, Mookie Betts. I'm just going to leave it there, okay? Any more questions or concerns with anybody before we move on to the NFL?
No, you mean that little tiny game that they're playing in a couple days?
Don't you think it's a little bit funny that there's not really much talk about this? Is it because of the area that we're in? Because
yep.
You think it is because of that?
There's more talk. There's definitely a lot of talk. Which, if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, that should make you a little bit nervous. Everything on the Carolina Panthers. In fact, Cam Newton looked a little weary in his press conference.
I saw that. I was like, what the hell is that about?
That to me, I predicted a big whoop ass from Carolina, but my God, I mean, you would think that they're the only ones playing in that game.
Well, you'd look a little weary too if Russell Westbrook was your stylist and you got stuck wearing them dumbass pants that he had on.
Don't you pick on my boy Russ.
Those were the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. Oh my
God, that was awful. That was awful. What the hell was that?
They probably made him tired just by putting him on.
What, like rip off like part tiger, part taxi, and like turn it into pants? What the hell was that?
I don't know. They were terrible.
That was terrible.
Ron Rivera should have sent his ass home and said, "Go change."
He's lucky PETA didn't like put him in animal jail.
Oh my God.
He's lucky Greg Hardy's not on that team because he probably would have smacked him because he thought he was a bitch.
We're gonna start Derek Anderson because of those pants. Whatever. So, obviously, the big game Sunday. Nobody still is talking about Denver. It's all Carolina, all Carolina, all Carolina. To me, like Chris kind of referred to and what we referred to on Sunday, because you don't hear anything coming from the Denver end and everything's coming out Carolina, it's kind of hard to, kind of put past that what happened with New England and Denver, because the only way New England was going to lose is if they beat themselves. But honestly, Denver flat out beat New England. So don't you guys think that there's a good chance that this could happen to Carolina, Adam? I mean, what do you think?
Well, you already know I do. I actually predicted Denver to win.
Well, I know that, but in terms of what's going on,
country, I mean, Denver. To me, Denver is a better team. The advantage that Carolina has to me is the quarterback, which that's a huge advantage.
Yep.
But skill position players, Denver's better all over the board. Carolina got the better linebacking core, but Thomas broken arm. Who knows what he's going to be like? He's going to play. It has been
confirmed. Sorry, Adam. It has been.
I totally disagree.
Hold on. I'm just going to confirm here that Thomas Davis and Jared Allen will both be starting on Sunday. I just read that. Just let you guys know. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
If I'm Denver, I run the ball right at Davis just to see what his tackling's like. See if he can tackle somebody or if he's going to try to.
And then what do they do when they realize he can?
I mean, you got receivers, man.
I think you forgot one thing. Carolina has the best player on both sides of the ball. They have the best quarterback and they have the best defensive player in right now. In my mind, is probably right now trending as the best quarterback, and Luke Kuechly is the best defensive player in the NFL right now.
Luke Kuechly is.
Okay, but there's 10 other defensive players out there, so they can get a.
Adam, as much as your football knowledge that you have, you do know that Carolina's defense is pretty darn close to Denver's defense, and the offense for Carolina is head and shoulders better than Denver.
Carolina's not as good as Denver's.
I didn't say as
close.
Good. I didn't say as good. I said as close. They don't need to be as good as Denver.
I mean, the weakness of Carolina defense is the secondary. Besides Norman, they're pretty weak everywhere else.
See,
I would
wouldn't
agree
go
with that.
far.
I would agree with that.
I disagree. I don't agree at all. I think that I think Tillman's playing, right?
No, I believe he's done for the year.
Tillman tore his ACL.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I thought he was playing.
No, he tore it.
No.
Okay, well then, yeah, you know what? You're probably right then.
Well,
take it back.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that Carolina's defensive backs corps is completely weak. But when you look at the defense as a whole, I mean, the defensive line is obviously really, really good. The linebacking corps is arguably the best in the NFL, and then you got the defensive backs. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just
they're not gonna run on Carolina. They're not gonna run at all on Carolina. So what I think is gonna happen? Those receivers short and make Manning go long. And yes, Adam, you will say he hit a couple long bombs to Owen Daniels or whatever against the Patriots, but he's not going to be able to do that consistently. And Carolina has enough offensive firepower to if they go down, Denver scores 14, Carolina can match that. My whole thing this whole time is I don't think Denver's going to score more than 17 to 20 points, and I know Carolina can score more than that. So that's why I still have Carolina winning. I have them winning big. The thing is that Denver's not being talked about at all, and that could be a spark for them. But I just don't see them hanging with them for this whole game. Eventually, it's going to explode. He's a superstar. He's living in the moment. It's going to be a lot like when they played against Seattle. In fact, it might be a beatdown like the Seattle game. This team. You can arguably say that this team is not as good as the team that played Seattle, Adam. I mean, you got to give me that.
I mean, obviously they're not because near the same quarterback that he was.
So then so you agree with me on that now?
But that team that played Seattle didn't have Emmanuel Sanders. They had Welker and Eric Decker.
Eric Decker's a very good wide receiver.
I understand that, but I mean, there's there's factors in the game that I look at, like. I'm just going to use Marius Thomas as an example. His mother's going to be at the game. And now he's had trouble the last couple of weeks holding on to the ball. Do you think he's going to be dropping passes when his mother's there for the first time to see him play? I think he's going to have a big game.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if Denver's got any chance at winning, he has to have a big game.
I agree.
Then I've already told Alex, little X factor in the game, Vernon Davis, man.
You are so big on this, man. I don't see it. I really do not.
I mean,
Adam, tell the nation what you were telling me at the shop today. I want the nation to know what your big, tell them what the big play of the game is going to be. Go right for it.
Oh, it's going to be about a 60, 65-yard touchdown pass to Vernon Davis.
He can't even yards anymore.
What are you talking about? He's one of the most athletic tight ends. They're gonna run.
I'm athletic too, but I'm not gonna get out on the field and catch a 65-yard touchdown pass.
I didn't say the ball was gonna travel 65 yards. I just said
I don't see it, man.
You're telling the nation right now. You're telling the real Take Nation who support you, Adam, who listen to you, who want you to do well. You're telling.
Oh, they hate my guts, and I love it.
Okay, exactly. You're making it worse. You're making it worse for yourself by saying that Vernon Davis has never caught and run a 60-yard. Has he ever done that?
I don't know. But I just don't see it. I don't see it happening.
Have you ever watched him play? They're going to come out with two tight end sets, and they're going to pound the ball. Davis is going to run a wheel route, and he's going to be wide open. Peyton's going to have to throw it about 25 to 30 yards. Davis he's going to be wide open because it's one of the last things that Carolina's going to be looking for because they really haven't utilized Vernon Davis since he's been there.
Do you think
Denver more than 20 points in this game.
Yes.
You do. What do you base that on, considering they haven't scored more than 20 points in like the last 10 games?
Oh, I mean the fact that Peyton, since he's come back from the injury and he took over week 17 in the second half, looked like a total different quarterback from what he did the first half of the season.
But he's still not putting up more than 20 points a game.
Because they haven't used him. They're using him more as a game manager and letting the defense win. But this is it. This is the last game of the season. This is possibly the last game of his career. He's been resting for 2 weeks. His arm, he's going to come out and fling it all over the field.
Alex, the life jacket is in the water, Alex. I've jumped off the Titanic. I am now in the water. Alex, please give me.
All right. Well,
please tell me. Alex, hold on. But Alex, when and how is Denver going to put up more than 20 points against Carolina? Carolina's defense is better than the Patriots' defense, I think.
My predicted score, neither team was going to score over 20 points. I had Carolina winning 17-13 or 17-14, regardless of how you look at it. But I'll give you guys a legitimate X factor on both teams. And it's going to be that offensive line on either team. And I'm going to point specifically to Carolina, because if they have someone to cover Greg Olsen, which is obviously Cam Newton's security blanket, and say that again?
Ethan?
Yeah, well, Ted Ginn, whatever. Throw him the ball. He might catch it. He might drop it. But to me, if Cam Newton does not have time to throw, he's going to have to run the ball. Now, he's a very good running quarterback. Yes, he is. There's a good chance that he could turn nothing into a 2 or 3 yard gain, which might save them the game at many points during the game. But the offensive line, if they are unable to contain DeMarcus Ware, Malik Jackson, Derek Wolfe, Von Miller, if they're unable to contain any of them, then Cam Newton's going to be in for a long day. I'll tell you that right now. And it's the same with Denver. If they can't protect Peyton, and with his arm how it is, and I know he threw the ball pretty well against New England, and he could be going out with a bang and throwing the ball everywhere as hard as he can. But again, if they are unable to protect Peyton and he doesn't have time to go through his progressions, he's going to be in for a long day. So to me, the X factor for both teams is going to be on that offensive line.
But okay,
flat out.
I'll jump in there and let me jump in there and say that I agree with you. I agree with you on that point. But the difference between the two quarterbacks, and I'm sure you know, is that yes, if their offensive
one's
line,
black, one's white.
No, it's not that. It's not anything to do with race. It's who has escapability and who doesn't. I mean, Cam Newton if you rush him on the edge, and he finds a lane, he's going to beat you, and he can't be tackled one-on-one. Adams made the point that maybe when he get to him, he'll just go up the middle, and Adams said he's going to get tackled by the middle linebackers. There aren't too many middle linebackers that can tackle him one-on-one, and the guy runs a 4.3 40, and he's like 6'5" and weighs like 265 pounds.
Yeah,
he's like a linebacker with wide receivers.
You don't think Von Miller could catch him?
I think I didn't say that. I think I'm telling you right now, if they ran a 40-yard dash rate, that Cam Newton would.
Oh
win.
Yeah, probably. I'm not denying that.
So if Cam Newton starts moving, I guess the answer is no. I don't think Von Miller can catch him. I think Von Miller can sack him. I'm not saying that if he comes around and catches him from the blind side, but I think if Newton steps up and goes up the middle, finds a lane, he's that extra weapon that they have. See, they have that. That is the X factor right there. See, if their offensive line isn't playing well, they can overcome that. So that's where I disagree with you. If the offensive line for Denver is not playing well, they're done. And you're absolutely right with that. There is no way Peyton Manning is going to play well when he gets knocked on.
I look at Michael Orr for
injured quick.
I look at Michael Orr as well for Carolina.
Look, Sandra Bullock is not coming to save him. Okay,
that's what I'm saying, because he's going to be covering DeMarcus Ware and at times Von Miller, and obviously those guys can abuse tackles. So we'll see. Adam, do you think this game's going to come down to?
Am I the only one that thinks Carolina is going to win this football game?
No, I think Carolina is going to win, but I don't think it's going to be 42-17. There's just no way.
By your analysis, you just basically everything you just said points towards Denver winning the football game.
No, not at all. I said the X factor for both teams is going to be the offensive line, flat out.
You don't feel like the offensive line is dire for Denver than it is for Carolina.
I think both offensive lines for both teams are very good, but they're going up against powerhouse defensive lines. So there's, both offensive lines could struggle at points in this game. So that's why I'm just looking at those being the X factors for both teams. If both teams are going to be successful, they need to be able to block for their quarterbacks, and it's obviously apparent.
So you don't think that when the offensive line breaks down in Carolina with Cam Newton's escapability and his ability to run in the open field and break tackles and just become a running back, like going back to his days in Auburn. I mean, who's to say he couldn't go back and play that way again? He could play that way for one game.
It wouldn't surprise me, Chris. It would not surprise me one bit if he was able to go back to his Auburn days.
I think you're using your point. You're saying that if the offensive line for Carolina breaks down, then that's the end of the game, pretty much.
No, I didn't say that. I said that there's probably a good chance Cam could turn something into nothing. Cam could turn something into 2 or 3 yards and probably save them a game at points during this game. All I'm saying, Chris, is that the offensive lines are going to be extremely key for both teams. If they want to be successful, you need to be able to block. And that was apparent, obviously, against New England. They couldn't block. They lost the game. If Carolina can't block, they might lose the game. If Denver can't block, they're more than likely going to lose the game with Brock or with Peyton. You can't block, you're not going to win. Flat out.
No,
Cam might have to run for 200 yards if that's the case. If they can't block, they're not going to win unless Cam runs for 200 yards. And can you guys see Cam running for 200 yards? No, you cannot. You're full of shit.
I don't see Cam getting 50.
Oh, I see him getting 50.
Well, I could see him getting 50.
I don't understand why you think.
I don't understand why
you're thinking that Cam's going to just be able to run all over the place. They're going to take 2 people and they're going to put Harris on one side to take out. They're going to put Talib to take out Philly Brown, and then they got 9 guys like they'll put Trevathan. They'll shut down Greg Olsen. There's going to be 8 guys waiting for Cam and Stewart.
Adam, listen. I respect your opinion, but Harris cannot cover Ted Ginn.
You're a damn fool.
Ted Ginn is good. If the only thing that's going to stop Ted Ginn from having a big game is Ted Ginn. If he can't catch the ball, then that's his problem. But he's going to get burned. He can't. There's nobody on that field that can run with Ted Ginn, and Alex will agree with me on that.
He's going to get punched in the face.
I was going to say,
the line of scrimmage the same way Edelman did.
As long as there's space, there's not one person that could cover Ted Ginn going in a straight line. But if Talib is matched up against him at points in this game, he's going to get punched in the mouth. But if there's distance there, Cam Newton will probably look at him. There's no way in hell he wouldn't. He'd be an idiot to. That might be a huge part of the game as well. But
the question is whether he can catch the ball or not.
So
correct.
If me, you, and Alex all know that you can't give Ted Ginn the space, don't you think that Phillips knows you can't give Ted Ginn the space?
I would like to think so. I
just want to know where somewhere along the line this talking about this defense all season long. At what point in time did they become the 85 Bears? I mean, you act as if this defense is untouchable. They've been lit up a bunch of times this year. They may be statistically the best defense in the NFL, but that's not saying a whole lot. I mean,
well, you're acting like Carolina's the turf, man.
Well, going by your Super Bowl pick, which was Arizona, getting blown out by Carolina.
Okay, well, that's what happens when you turn the ball over 8 times.
Okay, and who's to say that Noodle Arm's not going to turn the ball over 8 times?
Oh,
that's where the offensive line comes in.
Since he's been back.
He led the league in interceptions, Adam.
He was hurt. He was playing injured the whole first half of the season.
It's the NFL. Everybody plays injured.
I just don't see. I don't know, man. The offensive lines, those are the X factors, flat out. Flat out, neither quarterback will be able to be nearly as productive. Cam would probably be more productive when the offensive line isn't being able to block for him. But if neither of them can block, they're both going to be in trouble. And you could see a 17-14 game. That's what I see.
I would like to know why you guys think that there's no way Cam Newton can rush for 50 yards. There's not a linebacker that can.
When did I say that Cam can't run for 50 yards? I disagreed with Adam on that. I think he could run for 60 to 70 yards, and he's going to probably score a touchdown. But
of course he's going to score a touch the 5-yard line because that's their only play.
I'm only coming here so I don't get fined.
Not yet, man. I can't afford to fine you yet, but you got to be here. You got to be here. Adam, do you look at
what?
A turnover being probably or more likely the biggest play of the game that changes the complexion of a game? Because I see a turnover almost being a backbreaker for either team.
I could see that. Peyton did lead the league in interceptions, like Chris pointed out, but against the Arizona, Cam threw a lame duck that Peterson picked off. I mean, he's not accurate all the time. He tries to force throws down the field to Ted Ginn. And if he tries that against Denver and the corners that they have, they will pick him off. And if Peyton tries to throw some lollygag pass over the middle, Kuechly will pick him off and probably take it to the house.
More than likely.
But I could also, so I think whoever wins the turnover battle wins the game. And I could see special teams, a big punt return or something, playing a major role in it.
Yeah, I could see that. And honestly, you know who it could be is Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn could end up being the Super Bowl MVP if that's the case.
Well, the thing is that I never, again, I don't want you guys to misunderstand the fact that I'm saying Ted Ginn is some great player. What I'm saying is that if Ted Ginn can catch the ball, he's extremely dangerous because there is no one on the field. There's no one on any field that can catch the guy.
I definitely agree, Chris. I mean, speed. You can't teach speed, and he certainly has that in his repertoire. It probably is the most important part of his game because he does have a drop problem. But if he can hold on to a ball, if he's given space, or if they give him a chance to return a ball, look out. I mean, he could be a dark horse for Super Bowl MVP. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows?
Yeah. I think he might. I think you keep talking about X factors. He could be an X factor.
He could be an X factor. He could be a definite X factor.
Super Bowl MVP Vernon Davis.
Oh God.
I mean, Adam, seriously. I mean, look. I cannot wait.
Was it 8 catches for 160 and 2 touchdowns?
Oh my God.
Listen, Alex, I cannot wait for this game to be up hearing this love affair for Denver. I've never seen anything like it. They are not. They barely even made it out of the. I mean, they barely even made it out into the Super Bowl. I mean, look at, they're not like killing everybody. I just don't get it.
Guess what? The 2007 Patriots blew the doors off everybody except for one game. They didn't.
Shut up,
I'm
Adam.
well aware of this. You know what? You can't even compare the Denver Broncos to that team. They're not even close to that team. Would you stop it with that?
No, I wasn't comparing Denver to them. I was comparing Carolina to them.
Please.
To my Patriots. That opinion to my Patriots.
Because according to you, their offense is just as good.
In my opinion, that sucked.
No, I never said that. Listen, I think when you put up consistently 35 to 40 points a game, your offense is good. I never said that they were the best offense.
When you play 6 games a year, like I said last show, between the Falcons, the Saints, and the Bucks, who don't have a good defense, if you mix the 3 of them together, you're going to put up a lot of points.
I'm not talking about those teams. I'm talking about playing Seattle and Arizona and putting up 40 on each of them.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, Adam, you can't argue with me on that. I mean, they didn't score any points in the second half against Seattle, but they also didn't. It looked like they just completely took their foot off the gas and didn't even try. And then against Arizona, Arizona was never in that game once.
My opinion, that's
like I said, 8 turnovers will do that to you.
Yeah, but how do you games and not tell me that Carolina's heavily favored in this game?
Well, speaking of heavily favored, one of the biggest things about football is money and gambling, and we have a semi-pro gambler on the show. He's a gambler at the AA level, Mr. A-Wash. What are some of the bets that you're looking at for this game? Some of the bets. What's the line at? The over/under, things like that.
Last I checked, Carolina was favored by 5.5. That's obviously subject to change. You know, money goes on a certain team. The point spread ends up changing, very frequently. So I wouldn't be stunned if that game stays around 5. But I'm looking at the prop bets here. Okay, I'm looking at the prop bets, and there's quite a few of them. There's always something. You could gamble on who's going to be the next president. But for the sake of the Super Bowl, you got like the coin flip. Who's going to win the coin flip? If whoever wins the coin flip wins, like stuff like that. You gave me a few to look at here, but I'm looking really at one, and it's kind of funny. I'm looking at what gets dumped on the coach at the end of the game for Gatorade. You look at if Carolina wins, do you think they're going to have blue Gatorade? No, it's too easy. I look at if Carolina wins, they're going to have orange Gatorade dumped over Riverboat Ron. And if Denver wins, it's probably going to be blue just because, whatever. But because I think Carolina's going to win, it's going to be orange Gatorade dumped. Now you got stupid ones like how long is the national anthem going to be sung by Lady Gaga? Over under 2 minutes. I'm going under because I don't think she's very talented, where I think people think she is. So if she ends up messing up a line right at the beginning of it, she's probably going to try to speed it up. So I'm going under 2 minutes there.
The only problem we're solving here is how bad of a gambling problem you really have.
I'm not gambling on any of this thing. It's just funny gambling stuff. Like
the fact that you even know this stuff is baffling. And how do you honestly and say Lady Gaga is not talented? Have you ever actually heard her sing?
Yes.
And find any talent in that at all? If you haven't seen that,
okay. Chris, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you over Lady Gaga on a goddamn sports show, okay?
Then keep Lady Gaga out your mouth.
Okay, so have you heard her sing live? No, you haven't. Under 2 minutes. You don't have to play it. Don't play it because this is stupid. So, anyways, let's end it, man. Let's end it. What's your guys' final scores? I know we referred to it on the show before, but give me your final scores. Chris, start with you. What's your final score of the game going to be?
42-17.
42-17. Adam, what's the score they're going to be?
I'm going to go 24-17 Denver.
I don't see it, man.
Oh, God, I can't wait for the game to be over.
I don't see it. I see Carolina 17-14.
How do we not touch on why you don't think either one of these teams are going to get over 20 points? This is the NFL, Alex.
Chris, I mean, look at all the last Super Bowls outside of the game last year and the game before that. All of them were almost under 40 points.
NFL's changing every single year, Alex. It's not going to be that low scoring with the Super Bowl.
It's two really good defenses. I'm probably going to be wrong. I'm probably more wrong than I am ever right. But I just look at both of these defenses, and I think they can get to the quarterback, and they both can cover skilled players at all positions. I think it's going to be low scoring. But if I'm wrong, then screw it. Like I said, I'm probably wrong more times than I'm right.
When the coverage is that tight all the time and from two different teams that are that good, there's always broken plays. There's always big plays. There's no way it's just going to be that low scoring a game. When you got guys covering each other that tight, someone's going to break a play. Someone's going to slip. There's going to be big plays. There's going to be big like turnovers like you guys are talking about. There's no way that neither one of those teams is not going to score 20 points. You're better off whose Beyonce is going to wear.
That's good. That's cute, Chris. We got 2 minutes before we give everybody our real takes. Real quick, just give a name. Just give a name real quick. Adam, if Denver wins, who's going to be the Super Bowl MVP?
Vernon Davis.
Oh, my God. Honestly, I thought maybe you would have changed your mind. If Denver wins, Peyton's going off in the sunset. Even if he throws 4 picks, he'll probably get Super Bowl MVP. But Vernon Davis, if for whatever reason he goes off, crown his ass. I wish I had that then. Crown his ass. Friggin', he can retire and go off in the sunset with Peyton Manning, for Christ's sakes. Oh, moving on. Chris, who's going to be the Super Bowl MVP if Carolina wins?
Mr. Cam Newton.
Yeah, that's probably pretty easy, and that's probably where I'm going to go with that. So, for the sake of being different, if it's not Cam, it's going to be big defensive plays, and it's probably going to be Luke Kuechly. So,
you know what? I honestly, when I said Cam, I was kind of leaning. I was kind of 50-50 on that. I mean, because
it could be. It depends what kind of game it is, honestly.
Kuechly's absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
That's why at the beginning of this whole Super Bowl discussion, I had to throw into Adam that they do have the best player on both sides of the ball, and I think you'll agree with me, Alex.
Yeah, I agree. I just think if it's a defensive,
that makes a big difference in a game like this to have the best player on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be more of a defensive-minded game. So if Luke Kuechly wins, you could see like 14, 15 tackles, half a sack to a sack, and all that stuff. But before we get into real takes, Adam kind of just reminded me just a second ago. I know you guys like free stuff. For all of Real Take Nation, you have to tune in to obviously know what's at stake here. So we're doing our first contest here at Real Take No Holds Barred Sports. So what you got to do is you got to give us what you think the total score of the game is going to be, okay? And for the tiebreaker, you got to give us the winner. And obviously, whoever's closest wins the prize, okay? And the prize is going to be a football hat, either a winter hat or just a regular ball cap, New Era hat, to whoever the closest is. If in the event there's a tie, it's going to go to the person that gets a hold of us first. And to enter the contest, you need to email us. That's cute, Chris. You need to email us at realtakenhbs@gmail.com. I'll repeat it one more time. It's realtakenhbs.com @gmail.com. Sorry.
Hey, Alex.
Go ahead.
I think we should for the contest. I think we should give the winner who's closest. I think we should give him or her one of Adam's Atlanta.
Those things are like gold to him, baby. Those are like gold.
Oh,
Sorry, Adam.
blame Chris. Hashtag
Blame Chris. So, again, contest, our first contest here at Real Take. Obviously, you got to tune in here. Tell your friends, tell your family, whatever you got to do. Give us the total score. Give us your winner. Whoever's closest wins. In the event of a tie, we'll go with whoever gets a hold of us first through email. So, again, everybody, good luck.
And it's a hat of your choice.
Correct. It's a hat of your choice. I said football. It can be whatever you want.
It's a hat of your choice, but if it's not any of the teams that I like, you don't get it.
Hashtag blame Chris.
Hashtag.
I'm gonna make you famous, Chris.
Just like Billy the Kid.
Yeah, anytime anything goes wrong in my life from now on, it's gonna be Chris' fault.
It's gonna be why, Chris. Damn it, Chris.
Yeah.
All
Chris,
right.
you're the reason that Tanya Harding hit that chick Nancy Kerrigan with the pipe. Chris, you're the reason that the ground ball went through Bill Buckner's legs.
Don't even say that.
Chris, you're the reason that Aaron Hernandez is a serial killer.
Chris, you're the reason that Derrick Rose has a degenerative knee problem.
Oh yeah, now go and get personal. Okay, Billy Buckner.
Chris, you're the reason Johnny Manziel beats up his girlfriend.
Oh, that poor bastard, man. He's done. He's done. Okay.
We need to have
Done for sure.
we need to have a podcast based solely on that.
Oh, we will. We'll talk about the game on Sunday, and we're going to get to Johnny football because this has been a hot topic. But for the sake of it, we're running out of time here. Let's get to everybody's real takes. Let me get some tunage going, okay? And we will start with Adam here. Adam, what's your real take for the show tonight, buddy?
Oh, my real take is that Christopher Allen is a big Lady Gaga fan.
Ooh, he is. He thinks she's really talented.
Yes.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough one to beat.
He felt disrespected by the words that came out of Alex's mouth when it came to Lady Gaga.
You should have seen my poker face. That was weak. What a loser. Chris, what's your real take? Adam, do you have an actual sports real take before I move on to Christopher?
Yeah, my sports real take would be that Chris thinks that Carolina's offense is the greatest thing to ever hit a field in the NFL.
That's a good
and
one.
that he thinks that they're going to magically put up 42 points on the number one defense in the NFL.
All right. Shot fired and a real take. That's nice.
I don't
Chris, what's
recall
your real
saying
take,
that
buddy?
I don't recall saying they were the greatest offense of all time, but that's okay. But whatever.
You didn't say it, you implied it.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Hashtag
blame
blame
Adam. Chris, what's your real take, buddy?
My real take is I can't wait for this game to be over, so I don't have to hear about Denver anymore ever again in my life. The fact that Vernon Davis is going to have more than 6 yards and 1 reception is just beyond baffling to me.
Yeah. I'd be stunned if he has more than 2 catches for 16 yards.
I'll be shocked if Vernon Davis is on the field for more than 10 plays.
I'll be shocked if he's even active.
I'll be shocked if Chris watches the game or if he's actually at the gym.
It's probably a 50 chance.
He'll be watching the game on the treadmill.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea. My real take is, I don't got anything funny off the top of my head, but my real take is actually that this is going to be more of a defensive game than it is an offensive game. I just think both these defenses are really, really, really good. So we'll see, man. So that's it. That's it. Appreciate everybody tuning in to the show. Make sure you guys enter the contest. Stay warm. Shovel for old ladies if you got to. Be good. Be a good Samaritan.
Red Sox hats on.
I got my Red Sox hat on right now, buddy.
They have a Red Sox hat on. You shovel double for them.
David Price just got his first win of the year already, so he's on his way to the Cy Young.
You know, your life would be so much better, Adam, if you just were rooted for the Red Sox.
No,
I agree. So let's end on that note, buddy. We are officially on iTunes. You can download our podcast on iTunes. We are called Real Take NHBS on the iTunes. Obviously, the show is called Trifectas Unleashed. We are also on Podbean. We are on SoundCloud, and we are obviously on YouTube, as you guys know from the week before. We are super pumped to be, on those sites. So whatever is easiest for you guys to get on, hop on that and listen to the show. Let us know what you think. And that's it. Again, iTunes, Podbean, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You can also get a hold of us on Facebook. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at RealTakeNHB. And you can email us, which I referred to earlier, realtakenhbs@gmail.com. So, for myself, LeBron James, and Larry Bird, we are out. Have a good night, everybody. Stay warm.
Deuces.